Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Merced with his movie Manos De Oro. Let's take a look at the clip.
Traje para sacarte la casa un rato, para que me andes robando el trabajo. Deberías dejar que me la iba al taller. Volando, la chingamos.
No te molestes, un ratito me la aviento.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you coming all the way from Texas to be here. It's amazing.
It's awesome to be here, man. Yeah, I love Los Angeles. Anytime, any opportunity I get to be here is just A1.
If you keep making movies, we'll just keep inviting you back, you know?
I hope so, man. I want to keep coming back, so.
Let's talk about your film. Your film got me in the gut, and it was such a beautiful experience. I honestly didn't want it to end. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Yeah, so Manos De Oro is the story of Sergio, who's a former mechanic who has arthritis in his hands and can no longer work and be the man that he used to be back in his heyday. He lives with his son Fernando, who still works at his old mechanic shop, and the film touches on a couple themes, father-son dynamics in the Latino community, but chiefly among them really it's toxic masculinity in the Latino community, which is very prevalent and present. Very personal story for me personally, watching my father go through an experience of being sick and hospitalized a couple years ago, and taking from the DNA of that and making an entirely original story based on what it means to love your loved ones and to be better, ask better questions of yourself, and dealing with problems in a way that I think is inclusive of everyone in your life, that hopefully they can help you equally.
Merced, you're such a great filmmaker, and I'm so loving that your film has resonated like at so many film festivals. It's winning awards. Like, I'm just so proud of all that you've done. And you touched on a little bit about the inspiration of where your story came from. Tell us a little bit about when was that kind of moment where like I want to turn this vision into a film.
Yeah, that came it was organic for me because I was in the middle of writing another script, a short film script that I've long been gestating. It was October of 2018 when my dad got sick, October 16th of 2018, and that's when he was admitted to the hospital. And over the course of the next few weeks, he was in and out of was in the hospital. For me, it was just watching him go through that and realizing that, well, I have an opportunity to tell something incredibly personal here, and I need to just follow my gut. And usually that gut feeling is what I like to chase the most. Mm-hmm. And I just ran with it. Honestly, it was just the most organic way I've ever made a film. And that's the kind of cinema that I want to keep making, just personal, organic, as more as reactions to my happenings, my experiences, my thoughts, my worldview, so that they feel very immediate in that sense,
I mean, I watched this movie with my partner and has a very similar relationship to the characters in this, and he called his dad straight away, you know what I mean? Like, and it's incredible how it can resonate. And you said about the toxic masculinity, and particularly in Latin community as well. Like, I'm so glad you made a film about that because it will resonate with a lot of people, Was that kind of something that you just thought, well, I've never really seen this, like I want to articulate this particular dynamic?
It was that, and also one of the things that we were aiming for, like really from the start, was just to make something that was universal, because this isn't just something that's in the Latino community. I mean, it can be felt in every community, right? And I think putting away all the festivals and accolades and awards aside, the thing I'm most proud of and will forever keep this as a mantelpiece for me personally, is that it's resonated with communities of all different shapes and forms.
Absolutely.
Right? People who have seen it have come from African American communities, Asian American communities, and really anyone who has a father figure, or even a family member who's going through feelings of not being able to deal with their emotions and asking for help. They see something in that, whether you have a mother or a father, and that just to me is, it's the pride of my life. It'll be a source of joy for me for the rest of my life because it did that.
It's what was so great, what you captured that I just love so much is that you both see love, right? But just like, it's like, guys, sometimes we're a pain in the, you know what I mean? Like, we really are, we can't articulate our emotions and our feelings, but you can tell, obviously, they adore each other, right? They love each other, but sometimes we have too much pride up here. Was that, I mean, because you really caught that on camera, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I think a lot of just, men in particular, but just I think in particular Latino men of a certain generation, they don't necessarily have the faculties to speak on their emotions in the way that they're feeling at any given time. It's hard for them because they grew up in a culture and at a time where those feelings, those emotions are often, you wag your finger at them and they're told they're feminine, which is the most ugly feeling in the world, right? But I think because you grow up in an environment like that, because you're told like that's girly, you shouldn't feel that way, you shouldn't talk about your emotions, you get bottled up and you start to, at some point you're gonna break, and that's what we wanted to do with Manos De Oro, is to show a man, an individual who just has all these pent up emotions that he hasn't been able to express them to his son or even to himself, right? He just keeps ignoring them, the conversation with himself and with his loved ones. And for me, that was important to just really figure out what can we do to show someone at his worst, right? And then watch it break.
Well, listen, I'm stuck on the subject because I just love it so much, but like I have to say your actors were brilliant. Like, can you tell us a little about how the casting process was for you?
Oh, it was everything for me. I mean, this film would not exist if it weren't for Julio Cedillo and for Kevin Medina, who played Sergio Fernando in the film. It was interesting because in the way of trying to cast Sergio's character, which is played by Julio Cedillo, I knew that I wanted someone that just wasn't a sort of a Tex-Mex kind of individual that it was tiptoeing on both lines. I wanted a Mexican man. I wanted someone who spoke the Spanish the way I grew up speaking it, the way I grew up writing it, and just hearing it around me. And for me, that started with just looking for the right kinds of actors, and I stumbled across Julio Cedillo's work. I'm obviously familiar with all the wonderful things he's done, Sicario, Narcos Mexico, Coyote, to name a few. He's just been in so many wonderful, wonderful projects. He's a genius actor, performer. And I sent him a message on Instagram. It was a DM on Instagram.
See, Instagram for your casting, there you go.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm so reluctant to get rid of Instagram only because it's done wonders for my career. Because I find collaborators that way, honestly. Like really, I sent him a message. I'm a big fan.
So good.
We followed each other, and I followed him, he followed me back, and I sent him a message 2 days later. I was like, look, Julio, I have this story. It's called Manos De Oro. Just give me 5 minutes of your time. If you don't like it, you'll never hear from me again. And shortly after, he gave me a call.
Such a good actor.
And brilliant. Like, and just so giving with his time and his resources. I mean, the man is a wonderful performer. I cannot thank him enough for everything he's done for me personally and for this film as a whole. He was the one that eventually led me to find Kevin Medina. He had just worked with him on Narcos Mexico season 2. Oh, wow. And then Richard Jackson, who plays the gentleman at the beginning of the film. Yeah, he was part of No Country for Old Men and The Leftovers. A really awesome project.
You just got you got very well. You deserve it, but it's a great script.
I got really lucky. And Julio just he believed in me. He believed in our story, and he trusted that we had something to say, and that vote of confidence from him in particular, it means everything.
Oh my God. So, I mean, again, this may be very simple, but what was the choice of doing it in black and white?
That's a wonderful question. I'm a big cinephile. Like I enjoy cinema. I've grown up enjoying cinema all my life. I'm a big fan of the French New Wave and Italian neorealism. Those films from before, from François Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard, Jean-Pierre Melville, Agnes Varda, and then Italian neorealism like Vittorio De Sica. I like those films. I watched them in school and I watched them even after. And it was 2 things for me. It was number one, it was doing the film in a way that honored that style. Gritty, handheld, grainy, black and white, jump cutty, montagey, and innovative, right? And I think through that comes an experimental nature, like a very docu-style nature that I think lends itself very much to my story and my script. So that was number one. And number 2, the idea of making it in black and white was simple, really. It was one that I never questioned. It was from the start. I only ever saw my movie in black and white. I couldn't see it in color. I simply couldn't. But I think it was because this character this film as a whole is so character driven. I mean, from top to bottom, it's his perspective and what he's going through with his son and himself. And I knew that if we did it in black and white, it would leave the audience with 0 distractions. Just focus on the characters. And that's the beauty of black and white, is that it strips away everything. It's all saturation, every color, to just let you focus on the actors and what's happening on screen. And it's funny because black and white used to be such a limitation at the time.
I know, and now it just tells so much of a story.
Yeah, exactly. What was once a limitation, creatively, technically, because advances in technology and film stock weren't available then, is now it sort of blossomed into something that turned into a way to tell stories in a way that just is genuine and unique, and documentary driven, and that was a huge inspiration for me. For sure.
Oh no, I love it. And so what was it like directing? Was there any challenges? Was it easy, completely easy? What's going on? Tell us about that.
I mean, too many to count, honestly. There were a lot of challenges. I think chiefly among them for me was convincing this wonderful crew and this wonderful cast that at the time I was 25 when I made the film, this 25-year-old knew what he was doing. Because, like I mentioned, Julio Cedillo, Cairo, and Richard, they've been a part of this season. They've been a part of wonderful projects. and you know, they've worked with Academy Award winners and just these greats of cinema. And here I come, you know, having only made 2 short films at the time, Manos De Oro being my third, trying to convince them that, hey, I have something to say, and let's write this together. And they did. They did, honestly. I remember stepping onto set, and from the first take, these actors were just so giving of their time and so collaborative. And that's what I look for in actors. They set the standard for me moving forward in all my films, because you need collaboration. You need someone to tell you, well, I want to try this instead. Not just, yes, boss, I'm going to do it the way you said it. When I step onto a set, if I'm the smartest person in the room, that's not a room I want to be in.
I'm with you 100%.
I'm just the beneficiary of just the talents and really brilliance of a lot of wonderful artists, and you know, chiefly among them my actors. So you know, that was a challenge for me, but right away from the first day I knew that this was going to be a collaborative process. Technical problems obviously come up on any set, of course, right? But we got through them, really. And we got really lucky that, you know, we lost daylight here and there, but you know, we had to innovate some scenes. Some scenes were improvised just as a whole, and they turned out to be some of my favorite scenes. So I think there's a saying, right, is that necessity is the mother of all invention, and that's very much the case for us. And it truly, again, to harken back to the idea of making a French New Wave documentary style film, that's sort of what we borrowed from, is that, you know, we lost light, we lost certain things, certain props, and we just ran with the punches, and we made something that is what you see now. But to the audience, none the wiser, right? Like, you don't see all the madness behind it.
I saw the greatness. So I was like, please, it's not long enough, even though it's like 3 minutes. Speaking of the Academy, what was it like to have a partnership with NewFilmmakers LA, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, a celebration of the best Latinx filmmakers from across here and all over Central and South America? What was that experience like, having your film in this particular program?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pinch me moment. You know, I'm someone who grew up in South Dallas. You know, it's a low-income neighborhood by and large. I didn't study filmmaking. I didn't go to film school. I was too chicken to major in film or really do any of that, because I thought, well, someone like me, a Latino like me from South Dallas, has no business making movies, you know, and just to have my name, the name of our film, in the same sentence as the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, I mean, it's a pinch me moment. You know,
I got chills just then, even thinking about it. There you go.
Right. I mean, that has a lot of weight to it, right, in this industry. And for me personally, it's an achievement that, you know, I'm 27 now. I'm going to carry it with me forever. So it meant the world to me, and I'm happy to be alumni of NewFilmmakers. I'm happy to be part of the Academy, and I want to keep coming back and giving back, you know.
We'll never let you go. I'm just like,
I hope not.
I mean, big question, but what is next for you?
Well, I'm working on a short film that's eventually going to be my feature film debut. So working right now on applying the grants and getting it funded. So yeah, we hope to shoot that sometime early next year and see where it goes. But you know, that's the next step for me. I know that I want to make probably 1 or 2 more shorts before I exclusively start making feature films. I think Manos De Oro has done a lot for not just myself, but for my team, my cast, and my crew, and we're ready for the next big challenge. We're ready to, you know, keep telling bigger and better stories, and for us, that's, you know, using the momentum of Manos De Oro, all the wonderful things that it gave us, and channeling that into the next project, the bigger ones, the better ones, right, and telling more stories. But there's no end in sight. We're gonna keep doing it.
Please, we need you in this industry. I'm so glad that you decided to do filmmaking, because you have such a great articulate vision. I'm so excited to see much more of your work. So, and thank you for being here in person. This is so special. So, Merced, everybody, thank you very much.